morning and welcome to the first video of 2025. Oh my god, we've made it. Happy New Year. I know it's been a long time, like since the new year has started, but Happy New Year nonetheless. I hope 2025 is a great year for you guys and for both of us, that it brings everything you've ever wanted and that it's the best year yet. Anyway, I woke up this morning and I felt like filming. Maybe I do a little day in my life. I don't know yet which direction this video is going to, but just come along with me. I had the craziest dream last night. Like, I had a dream that the world was ending, like things were falling apart, there were fires, and obviously like because of the actual LA fires and stuff, and thoughts and prayers to everyone who suffered loss during this time. But anyway, there was like fires everywhere and there was no food, and the animals started going crazy to a point where there was a duck that was like following me the whole time, and he was like trying to eat me because there was no food anymore. And I was running so much, but then this duck just kept getting closer and closer, and I would like run into my house. For some reason, I was dreaming that I was still in my parents' house. So I would run into my parents' house, lock the doors and everything, and then as soon as I would lock the main door, and as soon as I would get to my room, he's already eaten through the main door and he's like outside the room, my door. And I was trying to like shove the door in this duck's face, but it was like getting closer and closer. And it's not like one of those like, okay, maybe it wasn't a duck, but like a goose, because it was like one of those big white ones with the yellow beak. And it was just getting closer and was trying to eat at me. And then thank God, because my alarm rang and I had to wake up because that was such a scary dream. Like, I think I have a lot of anxiety about climate change and the direction that the world is going that I never realized, and it's just manifesting in my dreams, but who knows. Anyway, I'm gonna have some breakfast and head out to work. I've already packed my backpack. I have CrossFit today after work. I'm not sure if I can come home, change, and then go there. So just in case, I've packed I've packed all of my clothes into my bag as well. Because yesterday I left work so late that coming home and going there might not actually be a possibility. So, excuse me. I just have all of my stuff with me just in case. And I'll take you guys along with me.
Showers early Friday, but improving to greater than 6 miles on Friday morning.
Stars shining bright above me. I breeze seem to whisper. Sycamore tree. Dream a little dreamer.
Shitty it looks.
Suggestion that Saturday night, sensational double thrill stock car spectacular at 7:30 at Norwood.
is now a few days later, and I just wanted to answer a question that I got a few times. I think like 2 or 3 people have asked me this, and I thought maybe there are other people who are also curious about it. So I decided to just add this little part to the vlog to answer that question. And that question is how I got my job. I'm just gonna go into a little background about what I did, like what I studied, before I get into my job, what I do, and how I got it. And then I will go through some of the requirements for working in Germany. So in case you're interested in working in Germany but you don't know where to start, just stick around. Towards the end I will tell you some of the requirements that you need. So first of all, my background, I studied a 3-year BSc degree in human life science, and I had genetics and microbiology as my minor modules, and for my majors I had physiology and biochemistry. After that, I went on to do a BSc honors, which is just a 1-year Bachelor of Science degree where you take some extra classes and then you also have to write your bachelor thesis. So I did that, and then after that I decided to continue to torture myself, and I went on to do my master's in physiological sciences. I did my honors and my master's in the neuro research group, and for my master's degree I basically focused on repurposing a specific drug for the treatment of glioblastoma, which is a type of brain cancer. While I was doing my master's, so in the process of writing my thesis, I decided to move to Germany as an au pair. And this kind of gave me the advantage that I was living in Germany, so I had a German address, and I also got to continue learning the language. So when I did start applying for jobs, I could say I live here and I speak the language. I started applying for jobs before I even finished my master's, because I heard from a lot of people that it takes a really long time for you to get a job, and I just wanted to get prepared, practice, sort of kind of vibe. And I started applying for jobs in June of 2023. So that was quite a while ago, and I got a lot of rejection letters. I also did some initiative applications, so I knew that I wanted to work or do a PhD. I wasn't quite sure about doing a PhD yet in 2023, but I knew that was something I eventually wanted to do. So I also started sending some initiative applications to professors that I wanted to do my PhD with, and to some of the companies that I potentially wanted to work with. Rejection. Some of the people didn't even bother to reply, but it is what it is. And I just continued applying for jobs up until February 2024. There was not a lot of potential, but then I think it was end of January, early February 2024 is when I got the job that I currently have. How I got this job is a little bit interesting. So I have a friend who was working here in Germany as well. We moved here around about the same time. She moved here for work. She was working in a lab for a doctor that was working on long COVID, and she got her job through her university professor, who actually pioneered the technique that we currently work with. And at the time when I was looking for a job, I was still in contact with her, and then I just asked her, like, how's it going? What are you currently doing? And she told me that she was actually leaving her job to start her PhD. And since there would be an opening for her position, I sent an initiative application to the hospital that she was working at. And I also mentioned that I know her, and that I think that kind of gave me an advantage, because since I knew somebody and they knew her track record, they kind of figured, okay, maybe we should give this person a chance. I hope. I don't know. But I put in the application at the end of January or early February of 2024. I'm not sure exactly when that was. but I didn't hear anything from them until about a month later. So around mid-March 2024 is when they got back in contact with me, and they scheduled like a phone interview with me because I was like quite far away from where, like, at the time I lived in a different city, and now I'm like in a different city, so it wouldn't have worked out. So we just did the interview online, excuse me. We did the interview online, and it was actually like a really quick, short process. Like, they just asked me like 2 or 3 questions, and then they asked me my salary expectation, and yeah, that was basically it. I think we spoke for about 15 to 20 minutes, and the next day I woke up to a contract in my inbox. So yeah, that went much easier than I expected. I was set to start working on the 1st of May, but then the bureaucracy entered the chat, and I actually couldn't start working because, yeah, it's a long process. So basically, I came to Germany on an au pair visa, and then I switched my visa afterwards to a different one. So instead of getting a visa, I got a residence permit for a different reason. And then I started, like, I was in the process of looking for jobs just after I got this residence permit. And I think like 2 months after getting my residence permit, I got this job. So I had to contact the Ausländeramt, or the Foreign Affairs Office, I think that's what you call them. So I had to contact them to let them know that I actually got a job and I need help to switch my visa from the visa that I had to being a work visa. The residence permit that I had at the time only allowed me to work about 10 to 20 hours a week. And since I was going to be full-time employed, I work 40 hours a week. It was not going to be possible for me to use that permit to work. So first I contacted the Ausländeramt in Rosenheim, which is where I currently live. And what the area that I work in is also falls under the Rosenheim district municipality or something like that. And then they were like, no, since you don't live in Rosenheim, we can't actually help you. You have to contact the Ausländeramt in Trier. So I contacted them, and then they just ghosted me and never got back to me. So the best decision for me was to actually leave Trier and move here and then register myself here. Something very interesting about Germany is that if you want to work in a certain area, you need to be registered in that area as living in that area, or at least, how do I explain this? It's like, if you want to work in Munich, you can't get like the paperwork to work in Munich. It's so complicated. I don't know how to explain this, but the Ausländeramt can't actually help you unless if you are in that area. So that was the thing that I had. So the only way that they could help me was when I was here. And so I wasted, like, not really wasted, because I was still in the process of like changing my residence permit and everything. But I spent about 20 days in May just chilling around my apartment, trying to figure things out. And yeah, it was quite a stressful time because I was like, I just moved here, I had to pay the deposit, I had to pay my first month's rent, and I wasn't making any money, like I had no income. It can get quite stressful and daunting, especially when you don't know where your next meal is gonna come from because you're not actually making any money. But yeah, I got lucky enough that I could contact certain people to help me out, like financially. Like, it was probably one of the biggest financial struggles that I had. So if you are planning to move to Germany and or looking for a new job within Germany, just make sure that you have a lot of money saved up, because it gets really, really expensive, and it can get quite stressful when you're like in between jobs and stuff like that. So now I actually want to get into exactly what I do. I think I have spoken about this in a previous video, but just in case you didn't follow or you've never seen that video, I don't even remember which video it is. What I do for a living is I work in a hospital that specializes in Lyme disease, cancer, and long COVID, like niche kind of diseases that wouldn't be paid for by your insurance, like special diseases basically. And the clinic or hospital focuses on finding novel treatments for these specific diseases. I mostly work with the long COVID side of things as a research assistant, and I mentioned this already in the video that there's a specific technique that a professor at Stellenbosch University came up with. So what I do is basically use this technique or diagnostic tool to look at whether patients have long COVID or not. Like it's not necessarily a criteria to say you have long COVID, you don't have long COVID, but more of a mechanism to sort of figure out what could be causing the long COVID symptoms. I'm not going to get too much into details of long COVID and the mechanisms and all the symptoms. I will include some articles in the description down below just in case you're interested, or some videos of people talking about their experiences with long COVID in case you're interested in knowing more about it. But yeah, for now, I'm not getting into the specifics. I just basically, use this technique to figure out what could be causing some of the long COVID symptoms in patients, and the reports are then given to the doctors, and the doctors will come up with a suitable treatment for the long COVID symptoms that the patients have. That's just a general basic explanation for it. I don't know. Besides for the long COVID side of things, I also do some very, very basic clinical chemistry stuff, like measuring blood counts, blood gas analysis, urine tests, and also COVID PCRs. We have this automated PCR machine, which makes life so much easier for us. And sometimes I also help with the diagnosis for the Lyme disease, but that's like something that I do once every other month, something along those lines. So that's basically it in the front of what I do and how I got my job. If you are interested in working in Germany, here are some, emphasis on the some, because these are not all the requirements. You also need to do a little bit of research pertaining specifically to what you want to do. But yeah, these are just some of the basic requirements that you need to have before coming here, or if you're already here and looking for a job. The first and most important thing is to check if your degree is actually compatible or recognized in Germany. If you are in the healthcare system, healthcare profession, or I don't know, other professions that need to be regulated, then it is important for you to get your degree specifically recognized. And then for other people, you just need to check on the ANABIN system, which I will link in the description down below, and also link a video on what that is. You can check the ANABIN system to see if your degree is specifically recognized, to check if your degree is specifically recognized in Germany. The second thing I would say is your language proficiency. I know there's a lot of people who they come here and they work in like IT jobs, engineering or whatever. For some of those roles, you don't need to have like a really high German proficiency, especially if you work in an international setting. But for ordinary people, or if you really want to do a good job or get by in the country, I would advise that you have at least a B1 or B2 level. And I think B2 is like one of those levels that won't get you into any trouble with the Ausländeramt. It just makes things a lot easier for you, like if you need to submit any paperwork or anything like that. And I think it also makes you a little bit more attractive when you're applying for jobs, to show them that you actually know the German language. For me specifically, I did not have to submit any language paperwork because I do work in an international clinic. Some of the patients that we see are English. A lot of the doctors speak English and all of that jazz. And I mean, I don't have to personally interact with patients either. So they didn't have a specific requirement for me for German, but I do have a B1 level. A B1. I have B1 level German at the moment, and I am working on improving to a higher level, especially if I want to apply for other jobs or do a PhD or anything like that. It just makes life so much easier at the Ausländeramt. So you have to check with your jobs what you're applying for, if they do require German, and if you're going to be applying for a visa, you need to present a certificate anyway. For the third thing is you obviously need an employment contract. So yeah, look for the jobs, and then once you have a job, you need to get a contract. That's pretty much self-explanatory. You need to have this employment contract to be able to apply for a visa to stay, like to come here or to continue staying here, or like get a residence permit or whatever. So the fourth point would be your visa, the visa application. You need to figure out which kind of visa you need. So if you are already in Germany or you're just looking for a job in Germany, you can either get an employment visa, which is just a regular employment visa, obviously, or you can get the blue card. The blue card is a visa that is specific to people that are highly skilled. So your IT people, healthcare professionals, engineers, and so on, because there is such a big shortage in the EU of employees. You can apply for the blue card if you are earning over 43,800 euros, about 43,800 euros as of 2025. And this blue card enables you to work all over the EU and not just in Germany. So that actually would be a really nice visa to have. So if you're highly skilled and you meet the requirements, don't apply for an employment visa, apply for a blue card instead. Another thing that I want to mention, it's not a requirement anymore, I'm all done with that now, is that you can apply for a job seeker visa. So if you are looking for a job in Germany, but you don't want to look for it from your home country, you want to come here because it makes life so much easier, you can apply for a job seeker visa. And this visa you have for about 6 months, and it allows you to work about 10 hours, I think, or 20 hours. I'm not quite sure about that, but you can do like small little jobs in the process while you're still looking for other jobs. And with the job seeker visa, you just have to prove that you have the financial means to be able to live here for those 6 months while you're looking for another job. So yeah, if you are looking for a job in Germany and you want to do it from here, apply for the job seeker visa. You can also apply for the Chancenkarte, which I'm not really gonna get into in this video. I will just leave links or other videos in the description down below, so you can explore that after watching this video. Okay, I'm done with the rambling now. That is basically how I got my job in Germany. That's what I studied, and like a little bit about my background. If you are looking for a job, I wish you all the best. If you have any tips or tricks and things that I forgot or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I am happy to read everything and answer everything. And that's basically it from me. Thank you so much for watching and for engaging with the content. If you did like it, please remember to like it, subscribe, and share it with somebody who would benefit from it. I love you a lot, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.